May 15th, 1969. It started actually on the 14th. We were set in for the evening, and there was a noise. One of the guys in a couple holes from me, he kept hearing something, and he wanted to light a flare, and the officer at the time said, "No, you can't do that." So he said, "Well, I'm going to throw a grenade." And he said, "Well, if you do, you're going to go out and check, find out what you hit." And he said, "Well, I don't care. I know there's something out there." Well, he threw this hand grenade. I think he threw a couple of them. And sure enough, he killed two NVA that were sneaking up on a trench that were just probably 10, 15 feet away from our hole. After you have an action like that, it's always customary or maybe mandatory to sweep the area for anything else that you can find, other enemies, uh, weapons caches, and things like that. So the next day, it was mid-morning, I guess, maybe around 11 o'clock. We were waiting for a chopper to come in because there was supplies coming in. The chopper finally came in, and I think there was a rush to get to another location. And the captain, who was Lieutenant Finnison at the time, said, "Well, we're going to stage the gear and leave one platoon to guard the gear, and we'll just take light ammo, and we're going to go out and sweep the area." The chopper came in. There was a staff sergeant that came in. I don't recall his name, but David Breeson, who was a corpsman, came in, and some resupplies. So right after that happened, we started to do the sweep, and I had Breeson, I said, just kind of hang close to me. I was carrying a radio at the time for the lieutenant, who was kind of doing double duty. He took care of the two platoons, plus he was our skipper at the time. So we started, and David Breeson went and did what Corman did all the time. It was hot. He started handing out salt tablets and stuff. And we hit a large contingency of NVA. Immediately, I remember getting over the radio, it said we were third platoon. I think it was second platoon had called in and said they had two whiskeys. And I asked the lieutenant, I said, "What's two whiskeys?" And he said, "Give me the radio." He took the radio from me, and he ran up. Well, two whiskeys were two KIAs. And he told me to go off, just pick up a weapon. And a firefight ensued. We had hit a very large contingency of NVA. I had went off to one side, and there was a bomb crater, and there was Terry Varney, myself, a guy named Brownie, we called him, and somebody else, and I can't remember who the somebody else was, but we all stayed in this bunker, and the NVA was really close. They were in this tree line right in front of us, and we didn't have much for ammunition because we weren't expecting to do anything. Nobody took any e-tools to dig holes, or I think a lot of people left their extra ammo and stuff like that. We were chunking grenades back and forth and doing a lot of shooting, and our supplies were getting really, really low. This went on for quite a while. Brownie was shot right in the head. He stood up in the hole and got hit. A little while later, after things settled down, Terry was gonna go walk and see what was going on. We were kind of cut off from the rest of the unit, and he wanted to see what was going on over on our right flank. And he went to step out of the hole we were in, and I was right at his leg level, and he took a bullet that went in the inside of his leg above the knee and came out below the knee. And he kind of leaned down on his rifle. And I reached up and grabbed him by the flak jacket and just flung him back in the hole. These snipers were good and they were quick. So he slid down into this bunker. We called for the corpsman up. Eventually the corpsman came, made sure the battle dressings was nice and tight, and told Terry, we have nothing to give you. All the morphine's gone. You're just going to have to suffer out the pain. Well, the battle went on for quite a while, and then there was eventually a medevac chopper. I'm not sure who the officer was. I think he got a very high distinguished service record for doing this flight. He came in, and we loaded the wounded people on the chopper as quick as we could. And
this is at nighttime, right?
It was dusk.
Okay.
It was dusk. It was getting dark. But Terry had been sitting there for maybe 2 hours or something, shot with no morphine, not a word out of him. I mean, he was just as quiet. I don't know how you can suffer that kind of pain. But anyway, I drug him off to the chopper and pulled him onto the chopper, and then I had seen somebody with a B-40 rocket that was getting ready to shoot, and I pointed to the gunner that was on the chopper that there was a B-40 rocket coming, and he started firing on him. Terry Varney was laying right underneath the gun, and all the hot expended shells started falling on Terry, and Terry said, "Get me out of here." You know, they were burning him, so I pulled him a little bit. I ran off the chopper, basically trying to run between the bodies, because there was, I don't know how many people were on there. There was a lot, because we ended up with not too many. And then later that night, we finally got a resupply chopper that brought some ammunition in. And in the morning, we picked up our dead, which was quite a few, and we kind of put them in the LZ. And we had illumination canisters that they dropped at night, and they had these big parachutes on them. We took the parachutes and we covered the bodies until the helicopter came. So that was my second friend I came into country with that ended up leaving May 15th. It was tough, and there was a lot of people killed May 15th. And there was another company that came to help us, and they hit the same thing, and they said that was a battalion force NBA. Well, a battalion force is maybe 1,500 people, and we were 60. We did get tremendous air support from Cobra helicopters. They stayed with us almost all night. We had Puff the Magic Dragon circling around. It was pretty scary.